Luton, Rotherham and Stevenage are all projected to do poorly in the first season of Football Manager 2024. Luton are projected to finish in 19th, Rotherham are predicted to finish in 24th, and Stevenage are projected to finish in 17th. In this video, I'm going to look at a plug and play tactic and test it out with all three teams as we look to see if the tactic can help them all beat the drop. Knap is one of the very best tactic creators for Football Manager 2024, and in today's video I've looked through his extensive catalogue of tactics to see if I could match one up against a real life Football Manager and their system. And the focus of today's video is going to be around Xavi Hernandez, manager of Barcelona, who likes to run a 4-3-3 system. So the closest I could get is Knap's Wheels of Fire Xavi 4-3-3 for Barcelona. As always, if you want to get straight on with this, there will be a link to the tactic in the description down below, but I ask for just two things. The first of which, please hit the like button just to help the video get pushed out to other people, and the second thing, hit the subscribe button so you can see the other content that is already on the channel and you don't miss out on any of the content that is to come in the next couple of weeks. As always, if you're here just for the results, feel free to jump forwards to that section and check out how this will get on. I've tested it with Luton, Rotherham and Stevenage just to show you what happens when you put this tactic in the hands of teams that are not expected to win their leagues. If you're here for the breakdown though, let's jump into that. Starting off at the back, we have a sweeper keeper set to support. On the left, a wing back set to support. Two ball playing defenders, both set to defend. And on the right hand side, a wing back set to support. You have a defensive midfielder set to support. Two central midfielders set to support. On the left, an inside forward set to attack. On the right, an inside forward set to attack. And at the top of the pitch, an advanced forward set to attack. As with most of Knap's tactics, this comes with a custom tiki-taka tactical style. It has an attacking mentality, so you will play football on the front foot. For the in possession, it will look like this. For the in transition, it will look like this. And for the out of possession, it will look like this. So that's the tactical breakdown done. Let's jump forwards and see how it gets on in the hands of Luton, Stevenage and Rotherham as we look to get some great results from the Xavi 4-3-3. Let's kick off the results roundup by looking at Luton, and the first thing you're going to notice is that Luton Town have finished 6th in the Premier League. They managed to get 69 points from 38 games and they've qualified for the Europa League. We'll come back to that in just a second. Firstly, in the FA Cup, they were knocked out in the quarterfinals by Tottenham. In the Carabao Cup, they were knocked out in the third round by Sheffield Wednesday. Let's have a look then. How did they end up 6th in the table? So from their 38 games, they would go on to win 20. They would draw 9 times, lose 9 times, have a goal difference of 20, and finish on 69 points. Now, when you look at the Premier League table, that's only 5 points behind Arsenal, who finished in 3rd place, and they would qualify for the Champions League. If we look at the squad to see how the numbers would break down, so Jacob Brown would get 18 goals and 4 assists, Ryan Giles 12 goals and 8 assists, Chung 10 goals and 10 assists, and further down you've got Ogbeni with 8 and 8 and Ross Barkley with 8 and 4. If we go into the data hub just to show you those numbers, team defending conceded 1.29 per game, expected goals against per game 1.20, only 9 clean sheets across the season. Looking at the attacking numbers, goals per game 1.82, non-penalty XG 1.68, shots per game 12.03, and pass completion ratio 87.8%. So an absolutely insane start to the tactic test, with Luton managing to get themselves into 6th place, 69 points, 38 games. Up next, we are dropping down to the Championship and we are looking at Rotherham, where we see that they would finish 2nd in the Sky Bet Championship to gain promotion to the Premier League automatically. They would get 91 points from 46 games. In the FA Cup, they would be knocked out in the third round by Crystal Palace. In the Carabao Cup, they'd be knocked out in the third round by Brentford. Let's look then at the Championship to see how they would get promoted automatically. Rotherham from 46 games would win 27. They would draw 10. They would lose 9 times, have a goal difference of 38 and finish on 91 points. Put them 7 behind champions Leeds, but it did put them 8 points ahead of Leicester and Birmingham City. Looking at some of the stats, Hugh Gill would get 28 goals in the season, Bramall 7.17 and Hugh Gill 7.14 in the average ratings, and Victor Johansson would win the Golden Glove with 14 clean sheets. If we look at the squad to break down some of the other numbers, Hugh Gill would get 34 goals from 43 appearances, Andre Green 9 goals and 8 assists, Sam Clucas 4 goals and 12 assists, and Cohen Bramall 1 goal and 13 assists. Looking at the data hub to see how the numbers got them to where they are, goals conceded per game is 1.11, XG against per game is 1.13, and they kept 15 clean sheets in the season. Looking at the attacking numbers, goals per game 1.93, non-penalty XG per 90 is 1.96, shots per game 14.28, and a pass completion ratio of 87.28. So fantastic for them to be promoted to the Premier League, gaining 91 points from 46 games. And finally, we are moving on to Stevenage in Sky Bet League One. And the first thing you'll notice is that they have been promoted also. The next season they would play in the Championship after they would go up via the playoffs. In the FA Cup, they would be knocked out in the third round by Chelsea. In the Carabao Cup, they would be knocked out in the quarterfinals also by Chelsea. In the English Football League Trophy, they would finish as runners-up, losing on penalties to Blackpool in the final of the Papa John's Trophy. Breakdown of the Sky Bet League One Championship will look like this. So Stevenage would play 46 times. They would win 21 games. They would draw 15 times. They would lose 10, have a goal difference of 20 and finish on 78 points. Now they would finish 8 points behind both Derby and Blackpool, and they would finish 5 points behind Portsmouth, but being drawn against Portsmouth in the semi-finals of the playoffs meant that they would win 4-3 on aggregate, and then they would go to the final where, as you've seen, they would beat Reading 2-0. You look at the squad to look at some numbers. So Jamie Reid would get 23 goals from 45 appearances, Nick Freeman 19 goals and 5 assists, Elliot List 13 goals and 3 assists, Harvey White 11 goals and 12 assists, Jordan Roberts 10 goals and 10 assists, Dan Butler would get 19 assists and 5 goals. We look at the data hub just to check out some of those numbers. In terms of the defending, 1.29 conceded per game, 1.09 XG against per game, and 13 clean sheets. If we look at the attacking numbers, goals per game 1.76, non-penalty XG 1.66, 13.61 shots per game, and an 86.87% pass completion ratio. So, all in all, what a fantastic tactic this is. Stevenage get promoted through the playoffs, Rotherham would go up automatically, and Luton Town in the first season qualifying for a European competition. Are the results alone enough to want to make you try Xavi's 4-3-3 that was built by Knap? Let me know in the comment section down below.